I think what means the most to all of us is our family. And when you put your head on the pillow at night and feel some peace and know that you've hugged your kids or at least prayed for them and fed them and have an honest relationship with the person that you're committed to, the people you're committed to. I mean, that to me is just the overriding, that's my experience. And so that's my sort of natural grounding. Is that what you asked?
Yeah, that's what I asked. Very, very good. This tour is sponsored by Compassion International, and I'm not saying this question because of that, because Compassion has meant a lot in my life. I've sponsored Children Forever and had a chance to go to Ecuador many years ago on the trip that you were supposed to go on, but you had to cancel. You don't even know that, but I took your place on that trip to Ecuador that year. That's what they told me anyway. You weren't able to go that time, but you both have been involved with Compassion for a long time, and I don't know if you share much from the stage at all, but what has it meant for you personally? And I'm asking this because I know you've been involved a long time. What has it meant for you personally, Michael, to be involved with Compassion? As far as your personal development, and just what has it done to you as a man?
Well, it's a loaded question. I would just say.
We got 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
When you go the first time, it rocks your world. It totally just completely changed your worldview. And after that first trip, I began to really develop, by the grace of God, a real heart for the poor, and a real heart to stand up for justice, and knowing that my involvement with Compassion could really bring change, And when you walk into a very, very dark place, when poverty is at an all-time high, and you walk into a Compassion project, it's almost like you're in a room and it's completely dark, and you turn on the light switch and the lamp comes on. It's unbelievable. And I would come away going, those kids are happier than I am, because they don't have anything, and all they have to lean on is Abba. That's all they have to lean on. And so, it was like, and so I remember coming back from the first trip going, I'll be a spokesman for Compassion, I believe, for the rest of my life.
I'll ask you kind of the same question, maybe, but when I went on the Compassion trip, what surprised me is, and I guess it's because I'm an American and your psychic is taught to think this, but you kind of think if you don't have much, you can't be happy. That stuff and wealth makes you happy, and when you see people who are poor that are happy, maybe happier than you, it kind of rocks you a little bit, throws you off a little bit. That's one thing I took from my trip to Ecuador. What's some Compassion meant to you, Amy?
Well, I love people connecting with each other, and wouldn't it be great if all of the need in the world could be met by the affluence, and it was just a matter of connecting the dots. I feel that way in Nashville. There's part of Nashville that is so poor in some of the projects, and part of Nashville is so wealthy. But because of the entertainment community, we have been able to connect so many more of those dots. And even the flood this last year helped us connect a lot of those dots between communities. And to me, Compassion empowers one person anywhere in the world with a little extra pocket change to connect with a dot of a child in a third world country. This summer of 2009, I took our blended family of 5 kids to Uganda to visit my daughter Sarah's child that she has sponsored. Not that much younger than Sarah herself, but she sponsored Alex since he was in grade school. And so most of my kids' faith experience has been in church or in community of people they know. And but they've never seen a situation that the only hope was in Jesus. The only hope. And I think that's what they really came away from that experience, just seeing the joy of people that didn't have much. Sometimes stuff is a real burden. You know, it's just more to take care of. It's such a distraction. Don't you feel that way when you're trying to straighten your house? You think, man, I think when we live on a bus on tour, there is so little to maintain. I just pull up the comforter on my bunk and close the curtain, and that's it. And at home, there's so much to maintain. You just miss a lot of life maintaining your stuff. And that was a real lesson that we learned going to these countries that didn't have much but had great faith.
Well, I appreciate you guys for being such strong advocates of compassion. I think it's a very important thing to do, to go beyond yourself. I think I've got a question here that's a good wrap-up question, because we have to get the house open for the folks that are outside. How have you seen, this is a great wrap-up question by Lisa from Roseville. How have you seen God use your music to impact others for Christ here and abroad? I mean, that's a big question. What would you say to that?
You know what? I had this question someone asked this morning on the radio. I mean, one life change is worth my whole career. And when you have somebody who put the gun down, who's going to commit suicide, and heard your song and gave their heart to Christ, it's worth the whole career. So, and then I think our music is full of hope, encouragement, and you know, it's a lifeline for a lot of people. You know, why I got picked, I don't have any idea. I'm not really anything that special. There's a whole lot more talented people than I, but I was chosen to write melodies and sing songs about the Father heart of God, and it's an honor for me. It really is. I'm grateful every day. I pinch myself. It's an honor to be with you. And you know what? God is no respecter of persons. You know, some people were made for the stage. Some people were made just to serve the little old lady around the corner from where you live. And we all play a part in building the kingdom. So it's an honor just to even have this time together. Thank you.
Amy, what has it meant to you? And I mean, can you believe this life? And what are your thoughts on how the Lord used your music life to impact people?
My favorite thing to hear, either in person or in a note, is when you wrote that song, that was exactly how I felt. That's exactly the experience that I was going through. Because really, none of us wants to be alone. And we want to feel like somebody's there with us, and God is with us all the time. But we experience Him so oftentimes through each other. And so camaraderie through music that's always what I'm grateful to hear. And I would say, especially because Michael and I went to the same church, and a lot of times he would be up on the piano leading worship, that I feel like several songs that you've written have helped people experience worship for the first time. And that's a good thing to do.
Well, I'm sure all of us would agree that I thank you both for keeping on, and sticking with it all these years, continuing to make great music, continuing to come out and see the people, and not just retreat into the home and all that sort of thing, but staying out there and coming out here. And thank you for continuing to do the music through all these years. And we're going to have a great evening. Thank you guys very much.